Welcome back to Snark and Spark. My name is Emily, and gosh, I've been away for so long. That's Kennedy. Who's a good girl? I have been away from Flosstube for such a long time. My last video was like May. Yeah. So, gosh, lots to talk about, lots to go over, and yeah, really, all this video is going to be my cross-stitch video. I'm just going to show you progress that I have made since that last video. Surprisingly, not a lot. Some whips, yes, other whips, no. I'll show you my whips, tell you what I'm reading, my current obsessions or whatever, and at the end I'll do some life stuff, some updates, and explain like what happened to me. Where did I go? Why has it taken me so long to give an update? So yeah, gosh, where to begin? So I had to go back and actually rewatch my own video and take a look at what I had done. So I already know that I had finished the piece truck for the holiday truck ornament series, so I don't need to show you that again. I have not started another one of those. There are two left. One says Joy and one says like Santa's or Santa. I have not started either of those since then. I really should. That was one of my goals, was like to finish that ornament series up, was so finish a truck and get going on the next truck, and I did not do that. So I need to. I'm a little behind with that, obviously. As far as my other whips, I have the Letters from Hogwarts, of course. The Storybook Halloween Stitch Along from 2021. I have Read Now, which is my oldest whip. Why am I blanking so hard on my whips? Baby's First Christmas, which is an ornament, and then the like owls ornaments that I have. I was supposed to start way back when with Tess of Tess Stitches, the All You Need Is Love and a Cup of Coffee. Never did. Need to do that. Way behind. Of course. So, yeah, just a lot has happened in this last little while. So let's dive in. Let's look at whips. I should have pulled everything out before now, but of course I didn't, because I'm not actually organized. All right. So Storybook Halloween. Yeah. It looks really good. I can't remember. I just looked at that and now I can't remember what was actually done. But yep, this is all finished. We have and then so I worked this way and then I came down and I've been working this way. So we've got the Raven, the Dracula mount with the charm, the house from the Haunting of Hill House. This is the mask. And then this is going to be, this is the side of Cousin It from the Addams family. So yeah, there's that. I have not touched this in quite a while, and I need to. Storybook Halloween. Why did I have this in here? Who knows? Oh my goodness. Things are sticking. Okay, I've put some progress in Read Now because I think I had mentioned previously that all that is left is like words, and then the book, and the book is just blocks of solid stitching. So like I still have the green teal color Like, I'm still in the middle of a strand here for the words, but I decided to take a break of doing words and work on some orange because this book goes like all the way up to like here, to like the top of this words. So that's a lot of just like solid block stitching to do. And this is a good, I think the last time I pulled it out, I was sitting here at the desk and I just threw some stitches into it to do it. I want to say it was like its birthday and I pulled it out and worked on it. So there's Read Now. It is coming along. Yep, all that's left is the book and the last two sections of words. I'm working on the heal your soul, and then there's like another one like feed the mind or something. My magnets for needle minder are super stuck. So there's that. Ooh. Ooh. I have Letters from Hogwarts. Oh, come on. It's stuck under some things in my chair. Have not made significant progress on this in a while, which is such a shame. This is so far behind. Remember, I had broken this up into 12 segments to work on, one per month, so that I could finish this by the end of the year. And here we are, halfway through the year, and I'm still, this section, the bottom part of this crest was supposed to be March. So I am at least 3 months behind, if not more, and that's frustrating. But I'll cover some of that next because I have like some stitchy ideas and like some stitchy updates too that go in with like my personal life that I want to talk about. Yeah, this boy needs some love. This baby needs some love. A lot of love. That's a thing that I don't want right now. I feel like I missed my dogs running up the stairs, but you probably saw them because, you know. What is in here? Oh gosh, so this is the owl. Yeah, the owls. It has made no further progress than this. I honestly don't think I have pulled this out in months. I honestly can't tell you the last time I worked on this. I want to say it was still cold. Like it was still like winter time when I worked on this. So, yeah. This little owl, that's it. Just the body, just blue. And there, how many of these? 8, 6, a crap ton. A really silly amount of owls to be done. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's got to be more than 4. 5, 6. Sounds about right. And then I'm not started on that. Oh, it's right here. And then Baby's First Christmas. It is coming along really, really well. I did change some colors. I converted colors. I will talk about that when this is done. It should be done. My goal is actually, so today is Monday, the 18th. My goal is actually to finish it by tomorrow and then to work on fully finishing it like all day Wednesday on not like my day off because I have mentioned before, this is supposed to be like an ornament or a keepsake or like a memento for my sister and her husband and for their first child whose first Christmas was last year. And it's almost done. I just need to fill in the scarf. There's some black right here that needs to go around like the adult's body. And then the words, Baby's First Christmas. And then, yeah, backstitching the scarf, which, yeah, I'm not the happiest with some of my color changes in the scarf. I thought I picked colors that looked good next to each other, but now that they're actually stitched, I feel like they blend in way too much. and then the color that I have chosen for backstitching does not stand out enough. But for like a keepsake, it's not that big a deal, and my family is just going to be happy that I made them something to like give her as she gets older. So, why am I yawning? I don't know. I'm sorry. So there's that. Is that all of them? Is that all my whips? I think it is. So yeah, that's coming along. I have some other like stitchy things. I have stuff I want to start. I have projects, but I am still, holding myself to no new starts unless I finish a previous project. And I did finish the truck, but that already has like a plan with it. You finish one truck, you start the next truck. So I can't just go starting things willy-nilly. But I am telling you, I am feeling the bug to start something, and it is hard. It is really, really hard not to give in to, I have not been yawning until I sit down to record. But it is really, really hard not to give in to that urge to start a new project, especially because, I ordered some stuff, I found some things, of course they arrived, it's really exciting. I had shown this, but I found this a while ago, and it has just been sitting on my desk staring at me to do the, these Disney villain cross stitch. Like, I won't even let myself, like, open it, because I know that if I open it, it's game over. So, but I love this. 12 different patterns. They're all villains. It comes with the instruction book. It says 48-page instruction book, 2 pieces of cross-stitch fabric, 8 skeins of embroidery floss, and a cross-stitch needle. And like Hades and Maleficent. I have that. I have this, like, this is so old. I still haven't opened it because I didn't want to tempt myself. This is a Halloween cross-stitcher magazine that I bought because looking at the cover, like designs on the cover, I absolutely adore. Designs on the back, I adore. Like, so I know there's going to be lots of things in here that I want to make, which is really frustrating. Plus, this Halloween magazine that I've also had forever, that has stuff in it that I want to make. So I have to put them down. And then I ordered fabric, and of course it got here. And this is like Afghan fabric because it's me, and why not? Because we're insane, apparently. I was like, and it's so soft. I'm like, I want to make like a baby Afghan for my sister, for my niece. And like, I got the fabric and it's super soft, and I have the perfect, like, gender neutral, sorry, my phone just buzzed, gender neutral pattern that I found, that all it is just different toys. It's not necessarily for a girl or for a boy. It's just like the pattern is different, like toy box toys that you would find, and like a robot and a doll and a toy train. But then there's also like a teddy bear, and like, it's super cute. It's super adorable. I bought this Afghan and I'm like, no. So I intentionally have not, like, I am keeping the pattern for it at my job. The pattern that goes with this for this project is at my job because I'm keeping them separate from themselves. This is really fragile, but I don't mind to show you. I am part of also a couple Facebook groups that do like, buy and share or like swap and share patterns, of people who have old patterns Sorry, I'm being really delicate because it is really fragile and it's wrapped up in tissue paper. But I'm part of a group that's like, you know, swap and share. If you have they're mostly like really, really old designs, um, kind of thing. And I have been searching for a unicorn cross stitch piece that speaks to me, or like a Pegasus. Sorry, my phone is, I did not turn it on silent. A Pegasus or a unicorn, one of those mythical horse pieces, for my dad. I really want to make one, and for me, in remembrance of my dad. He loved like magical creatures and mystical creatures. You know, growing up, we were constantly told fairy tales and stories and stuff by my dad, because he loved that. And he passed that love on to like my sister and I. But he really, really liked unicorns. Yeah, like I love that. I love that so much. You know, he loved them for their beauty and their purity, and just he loved all of the myths and the legends and the stories about unicorns and stuff. And so after he passed, I have been just kind of slowly dipping my toes in, and every now and then kind of doing a search for unicorns, and just seeing what kind of pops up or what comes across my radar. See if anything jumps out at me that says this is it. And I was in one of my groups, and I just happened to browse it, and she was willing to just pass it along. She's had it for a really long time, and she was willing to pass it along if I would pay for shipping. And I was like, yes, please. And she mailed this to me quite a while ago. And like I said, it's old. So this is Pegasus and the Unicorn, designs by Stephanie Seabrook Hedgepath. It is a booklet. I'm going to be very careful opening it. Does it say 1981 Pegasus Originals? So to put this into context, this is older than I am. Yeah, this was copyright, 1981. I was born in 1994. So yeah, this is older than me. It has been loved before. It is, it is fragile. It is very worn, so I'm being very, very careful with it. But it is Pegasus and the Unicorn, and I can't turn it because the pattern for the unicorn is on the back of this, and the pattern for the Pegasus, I'll hold it way back here, is on the inside, plus her little how-to kind of thing. These symbols look hand-drawn. Sorry, I just got distracted again. But yeah, so this is for my dad. Sorry, trying. Grief is I don't even care. Grief's a bastard. It really is. It is going on 2 years since I lost my dad, and it still hurts like the dickens. So, and some days are better than others. But looking at this, I saw it, I just happened to catch a glance of it, and it just I don't know what it was. It called out to me. It hit me. It's not the prettiest. It's gonna be a bitch to stitch, and I know that because it calls for black fabric and really finicky. There are like so many different shades of white and gray to do the body and the shadowing and back stitching and quarter stitching and 3/4 stitching. But I don't know. There was something about this and it just screamed dad. So I asked her for it and she sent it to me. And now it is in my possession and I have kept it, and I'm keeping it wrapped and in the envelope that she like mailed it to me in, keeping it, climate controlled, cool place. Well, excuse you. My doggies are barking. I don't know why. There's nothing outside. So yeah, that's some of my newer stuff that I have. Sorry for the emotions. Sometimes it still catches me. Sometimes I still get caught off guard. But that's okay. So, gosh. Just a real quick, I guess, book updates. Since I did cross-stitch updates. Finally finished the Book of Night by Holly Black. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I believe there will be another one. It was set up as if there will be a book 2, and then when I checked Goodreads, the Goodreads page for it had kind of been updated and has the brackets where it says the series name, and it's the Book of Night #1. So I'm hoping that means that there's another one in the mix. I am very behind for the Magical Stitches reading. I'm 2 books behind at this point. I've read the one we read in March for St. Patrick's Day. April. I have not read June's book, and I haven't read July's book. So I have to do that. We're on book 6, and I have book 5 on my shelf over there. So I need to do that. I am currently listening to The Last Tutor by Philippa Gregory. It is book 14 of 15 in her Plantagenets and Tutors series. So I'm almost done with that series, which is also surreal. I'm almost done. I will probably finish that today if everything works out. Especially because it's due tomorrow. So, nothing else is really sticking out in my brain of things. I've read some other stuff. I'd have to sit down and actually look through my Goodreads. Why? Whatever. Shows. I am on a Criminal Minds kick. Season 1 Criminal Minds. At my job, we check DVDs and CDs and audiobooks and things after we clean them, and the way to check them to make sure they work is to obviously play them or watch them. And a patron, has I guess been trying to watch Criminal Minds because the DVD sets of seasons 4 and 5 came to us. So I had to check those at work last week, and it just hit my little brain of a dopamine rush of oh, I remember this show. So then I went back. So then I came home and I've been binging season 1 of Criminal Minds since Friday night and all weekend. It's been really, really nostalgic in such a weird way. It's been great. Doing that. I'm just gonna work my way and see how long the urge to watch this show lasts. According to Hulu, I still have 300 episodes to watch, so that's a lot. That's a lot of episodes, and I can't promise that my attention span will stick with it. So now that that's kind of done, Stitchy project update, reading update, show update, let's talk about life and what has gone on in my life. It's a lot. New hair. Look at this awesome, awesome hair. I love it so much. My hairstylist, her name is Janelle. Janelle is amazing. She found this like new technique for coloring hair, and she asked if I wanted, if she could try it out on my hair, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we actually did it once before this with like pastel, like rainbow colors, and it turned out really, really cool. It was really pretty. And then she wanted to do it again with darker colors, and so here we are. I've got like a darker jewel toned rainbow in my hair, and it's so cool. I love it. So does everyone else. I get so many compliments on it. Gosh, let's just like work through everything. I'm just messing with my ear, so I'll talk about that. Normally, if you go back and look, I have piercings right here in this part of my ear. I actually have 3 holes right here at the front part of this earlobe. I lost the bottom one a couple years ago, but it had stayed open. And then finally, these top 2 came out. I lost one, and then I had my husband go ahead and take the other one out, and I'm glad I did, because they were giving me problems. I don't think they ever fully healed properly. They've always been really itchy and like uncomfy, because I believe I had the wrong like length of like earring in, and it was causing problems. They were like hitting each other. There is some like scarring and like swelling still in the tissue around where the holes should be. And so I'm actually glad that we took those out. I plan on going to a local like piercing parlor here, telling them, you know, I got these done when I was in college. I'd always had problems with them. I was finally, after 3 years, more than that. That's a lie. It's been more than 3 years. What? I got them when I was in college. Ugh, it's been like, what? 7 years. Gosh. So, multiple years of just like problems. Not necessarily pain, but just uncomfortable feelings with my ear. And I finally just gave up and was like, take them out. My husband had to go get like pliers to like almost like break the piercing. Yeah, like it was not fun, but they are out. I've just left them alone. I have let them breathe, clean. There's still some like itchiness, but it has significantly decreased. So yeah, what else? I'm trying to think of my timeline. I guess big things. My husband and I went, I think I mentioned it, my husband and I went and we got tattoos done in May, and they have both healed wonderfully. My husband has one above his heart. His is a compass, like a compass rose, like a map legend. So he has the circle, and he's got the star with the points, and he's got north, south, east, west, and it's shaded. And I mean, it's a nice circle, and it sits on his chest. Mine is on my back shoulder blade, and mine is a quote of my dad's in my dad's handwriting. It is a phrase that he wrote in all of the cards that he gave to my sister and I since we were little bitty. He always wrote, "Love always and always, Dad." And so I got that phrase in his handwriting on my shoulder blade. I have photos. If I can, I will insert a photo here. So that happened. Like I said, they have both healed really, really well. I have not posted it anywhere. I haven't. This is actually like the first time putting it out on social media, I believe. I just wasn't ready to share that yet. This tattoo has a lot of meaning to me. It has a lot of importance. It holds a lot of emotion. for me, and it was very cathartic getting it done. It took like 20 minutes tops. It's just line work. It's just his handwriting. My husband says it looks like he wrote on me in Sharpie. I got to take this idea that I've had for a long time. I wanted to do this before he passed. This has always been something I wanted to do. And then having it become reality was very, very moving. I did fine during the actual tattoo, and then he finished and he handed me a mirror to look, and I burst into tears, sobbing because it is my dad's handwriting. It 100% is, and it is beautiful, and I now have this piece of him forever with me, and that is that means a lot to me. So yes, and on that note, I am still dealing with a lot of stuff with my mental health, and there is no shame in, like, we need to break the stigma. I have been seeing my therapist still. I have been in therapy regularly since last year, since like last November, October, November kind of thing, and it is going really well. I have made significant progress with dealing with anxiety and depression and stress, and this is part of that, breaking that stigma of things. Was my official diagnosis is PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, and working through a lot of that slowly has been important for me and for my physical health, for my mental health, being able to function as a normal, healthy person. And I am incredibly grateful for the therapist that I have, and who has recommended me to the psychiatrist that I have, and the psychiatrist who I have worked with, and I am on a medication. I take 2 medications, one for anxiety and one for depression, and they work for me. They're both very low doses. They are wonderful and they work for me, and they don't make me not me. And so, the use of medication and the combination of therapy has been a huge, huge boon for me and a boon to my life. And I have noticed just significant progress and change from where I was a year ago, 2 years ago. And that's awesome. This is amazing. So I have been going with that, and sometimes it's harder than others. Sometimes it's just an easy conversation, and other times things come up that are difficult to talk about, and I have to deal with that. And making sure that those healthy coping mechanisms are in place has been vital. So don't be afraid of therapy. Go to therapy, find a counselor, find a therapist, and medication is not evil. It is not the end of the world. Medication can also be a really, really good tool to help you. And there's nothing that says that you have to be on medication forever once you start, do you? What else? Other big things and fun news besides therapy, back in the end of June, middle of June, I think I had mentioned it, my husband Bryant, my son Caden, and I went to Disney World, which was amazing. So we got to spend 5 days in Disney. because of my husband's job, his company sent us on this trip, and it was amazing. He worked really, 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 really hard last year in 2021, and because of all of his hard work and diligence, they rewarded him along with some others in the company and sent, him and his family on a trip to Disney World. So we went to Orlando, Florida, and we were there, like I said, for 5 days, and it was so much fun. We went during this 50th celebration, this 50th anniversary. We rode rides, and we did all but one of the Star Wars rides, that's okay. And we did the new Toy Story rides, and we got to do the Avatar ride, which was amazing. We saw Chip and Dale and Daisy Duck and Donald Duck, and we ate a bunch of food because we were there during the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot. We rode the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster because it opened right before we went. Gosh, it was so much fun, and it is something that Caden is not going to forget. It was awesome. We had a really, really good time. I'm glad we went now. I think Caden, he's 9, he'll be 10 here soon. He's at a really good age to enjoy it, and we had a blast. Riding all the rides, eating all the food, and seeing friends and coworkers of my husband's work that we get to see maybe once or twice a year because we're all spread out, and getting to be there with them as well and hanging out with them and catching up was awesome. What was not awesome was that we caught COVID. We believe we caught it on the plane, on the airline, because people in our travel party that we didn't see while we were at Disney, but we were all on the same airline, also got COVID. So that was not fun. I personally started to not feel well the day we traveled home. We were supposed to go home on Friday, and I knew something was off, but I definitely blamed it on I've spent the last 4 days here in Orlando. This is not my normal climate. This is different. I do have allergies. It's hot. We've also been go, and we are exhausted. We have physically pushed ourselves. We have walked miles every single day through these parks. My body is tired. It's worn down. But then as the day went on, I started to feel worse and worse and worse, and then my symptoms started to progress. And unfortunately, there were flight delays, which meant we were supposed to be home Friday evening. So we had 2 flights. We had a flight from Orlando to Chicago, and then we were supposed to get on Chicago, and then a really short flight from Chicago to our home, back to our hometown. We missed our connecting flight. So there was a delay in Orlando. There was a thunderstorm that rolled in the hour before our flight was supposed to take off, which of course delayed things. It was a severe thunderstorm, and then there were technical difficulties and machinery issues with our plane. So our flight was delayed by 3 hours, which then meant we missed our connecting flight by minutes, okay? As in, we were on the flight about to land in Chicago, and the flight attendants came on across the PA system and were like, "Hi people, there are individuals on this flight who have a connecting flight to get home, and we are really crunched for time, so please do not get up. Let them pass you so that they can hopefully catch their flight to get home. And like had us raise our hands. She was like, if you are on this flight, please raise your hands. So we all did. She's like, and unfortunately, they're all really close here to the back of the plane. So once we land, stay seated and let these folks get off. We got the notification like as we landed that our other flight took off without us. And that was rough. So then we were stuck in Chicago late at night. No rental cars, so we couldn't get a rental car and drive home. And it was rough. So they put us up in a hotel. I didn't have our luggage. I had to sleep in the clothes I was wearing. And I was exhausted. I felt really bad. And at that point, I was like, I'm feeling really bad. Really bad. Still was like hoping that it was just really bad allergies or like a sinus infection. And then I woke up the next morning, Saturday morning, and I'd lost my voice. It was gone. Completely gone. My throat hurt so bad. My sinuses were like, I was in pain. Like my sinuses were like blocked and inflamed. It was rough. And that was like, I was like, yeah, this is not good. Shit. And then we had to sit in the Chicago airport all day because, of course, the only flight that they could get us on wasn't until 8 o'clock Saturday night. So we sat in the Chicago airport for hours and hours. We found like a corner, barricaded ourselves in with like our carry-ons and backpacks and like created like a wall, and kept our distance from people. And I deteriorated, and then I watched Bryant deteriorate. Like he was fine, and then he wasn't. And suddenly he had a fever and he had chills, and I was like watching him shiver, and it was awful, and there was nothing we could do. We got home Saturday night, did our at-home tests, immediately came back as positive. So then we had to quarantine. Luckily, Caden never got sick. He stayed negative. We had to keep him away from us, obviously, as well. So he spent a lot of time upstairs in his playroom. I spent a lot of time curled up on my couch or sitting right here at my desk. And I had really severe symptoms. I did. I had really, really severe symptoms. And it was scary. I won't lie. It was. My throat became very, very swollen and inflamed. And we were concerned that my airway might become constricted or narrowed. So we were keeping an eye on that. I was very fatigued. I had like no energy. I had like a pretty consistent fever the entire time that I just could not break. My sinuses were like, I was just in pain. This whole area was in pain. And so I lost my voice Saturday, and I did not get my voice back until like Wednesday, Thursday. And when I say like I didn't have a voice, I mean I did not have a voice. I could barely whisper. Yeah. Like it completely destroyed, it messed with my throat and my vocal cords a lot. Bryant was really concerned. I was putting ice packs on my neck, to try and help with like the inflammation and the swelling. And we were like, if this doesn't go down or this doesn't stop by like Wednesday, like I was going to have to go to the doctor kind of thing. Luckily it did. My voice came back. But it was rough. It was rough. So I took a week off work for vacation, right? And then I missed a whole other week staying at home with COVID. And then it was 4th of July. and we were closed because of national holiday. So then I was home like for even more. I was home or out of work for over 2 weeks, including vacation and COVID. So yeah, it was a really long time, and that was through July 4th, okay? Obviously, during that time, I didn't feel well. I was really busy. When I was healthy, I was doing other stuff. I was working. I was taking Caden to summer camp. I was dealing with that kind of thing. Hanging out with friends, doing stuff. And then like June hit, and it was like, I just need a breather before we go on this vacation. And I lost my stitchy bug like entirely, and I really didn't do anything for the month of June. I didn't really read. I didn't really stitch. Like, I just didn't really do anything. Then we went to Disney, and then we got COVID, and I had no energy at all when I was recovering. So I didn't stitch. It really wasn't until like the weekend of like 4th of July that like I felt well enough and like I could actually concentrate long enough to put some stitches in. And even then I sat down with this because it's very small, and I can easily hold it with one hand in its little hoop and just like comfortably stitch. Like, I'd already done most of the variegated floss, so I wasn't worried about that. I could just do the colors. The pattern is really easy to follow, so I've been working on that slowly but surely. And so like with that, I have learned in this last like couple weeks of July of like re-finding my stitchy bug that I have been putting way too much pressure on myself to essentially find a reason to stitch. And what I mean by that is I had joined a whole bunch of stitchy groups, right? A whole bunch of challenge groups. And those have been really fun for the last like 2 years. For whatever reason, this year it has some of them, not all of them, and I don't really, it's not that any particular group has done anything wrong. It just seems like some of them I'm more drawn to than others, and some of them have felt more like a chore to do. Like maybe there's too much going on in them, or between weekly stitching, prompts, then there's monthlies, and then there's some of them have multiple monthlies, and trying to keep it all straight. And then there's different stitch counts for this and different stitch counts for this group or this game or this event. It started to really hinder my personal stitching, and it started to feel like I couldn't stitch on something unless I had a reason to, unless there was a prompt for me to put those stitches in. And I didn't like that, because it took away the joy of my stitching, because it started to make stitching feel like a job or a chore and not a hobby and not a pastime or a passion. It started to feel like, well, if I can't use these stitches for something, if they won't count towards a task or a prompt, then it's not worth it. And I don't ever want my stitching to become like that, where I feel like I can't do it just to do it. Like that there always has to be a purpose behind it. There always has to be a reason, or it's just not okay. And that's silly. Like, why am I putting that kind of pressure on myself? And so over the last couple weeks, I have started to kind of go through my stitching groups, look at ones that, look at all of them, and I'm trying to be really objective and see which ones do I actually post in, which ones do I actively check, which ones am I still really interested in seeing prompts pop up for, versus other ones. There are some where I'm noticing this trend now, where I see that there's a new event or a new pop-up or something, and instead of being excited, if anything, I'm like dreading it a little bit. Like there's like apprehension there, and I never want to feel that way when I stitch. So I have decided that I'm going to slowly start paring down the number of groups that I am in, and based off my participation and my feelings about participating in those. With the goal being, hopefully, I've narrowed down my list to a more manageable number, and then the groups that I'm still in, I still have passion for and I'm still excited to be in, and will reinvigorate my participation in those groups, because I think all of my group activity has suffered. I was spreading myself too thin, is what it came down to. And so this first like couple weeks of July, I have like stepped away from posting pictures of my stitching on Facebook and have really just focused on stitching for stitching, just because I can, just because I want to, because I'm sitting at my desk and you know what, I want to stitch, or I'm sitting on the couch watching Criminal Minds and I'm like, I want to stitch, and not worrying about what do these stitches count for? Why am I counting stitches? So that's been really refreshing, and I want to carry that into the next few months. So I would say, yeah, don't be surprised if you kind of see in the future some changes, or if I mention that I have left certain groups, just because I was overwhelming myself. I was putting too much pressure on myself, and it was no longer fun. And I don't want to take my hobby away from being fun. I am very much a process stitcher, not a product stitcher. I stitch to stitch. I don't do it because I didn't start doing it because I wanted goals. I did it to do it. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'm slowly doing that, which means I am reevaluating how I look at things and the goals that I give myself for stitching. And even that, like, I don't know if I want to call them goals or more of like wants, things that I want to see this month. So I like sat down and I was like, you know what I want to do this month? I want this to be finished. And not just that, I want this to be fully finished. My sister and my brother-in-law and their child are coming to visit me this month, and I would like to give this to them and have them take it home with them. I think that that's doable. There's not a whole lot left of this. And instead of putting pressure on myself of like, oh, I gotta make sure I get the stitch count in for these groups, instead I'm looking at the project and going, I want to see this accomplished for this project, instead of I want to see this task completed for this Facebook group. And I like, the concept of a daily 30 project. I love that idea of you pick a project that you want to sit down with and work on. And maybe it's a project that you won't work on otherwise. And so you just sit down and give it 30 minutes a day. And that's all you have to give it, is 30 minutes. You don't have to do more than that. And I think I want to do that with Harry Potter. I've gotten away from it. And for whatever reason, this piece, I will just set it down and walk away from it for months at a time. And I want to give it love. And I think it's in there. I've put pressure on myself. But if I just sit down with it for 30 minutes a day, that's doable. That's really manageable. I can do 30 minutes a day on Letters from Hogwarts and then put it down and go back to working on a different piece. So that's where I'm at with that. And I'm feeling really good, and I'm just reevaluating my priorities for groups. And if those groups don't kind of line up with my priorities, then I think I need to exit those groups. And that's okay. So yeah, which also means I have decided to change my planners up. And I plan on making a whole video on its own of like this. So if you've been with me for a little bit, you'll know that this is a big happy planner. This is the 2021 to 2022 homeschool planner, the big homeschool planner. So it goes from August through July, which means I'm in the last month of this. Now, this planner and I have had our ups and downs, right? So, I have used this as everything from a, hang on, I gotta find it, like from a personal planner, from like a daily planner or weekly planner, I guess, to like, yeah, so like this is September of like a daily planner. Okay. Right? Like using it. I was doing that for a little while, and then like I stopped like midway through a week. I like quit filling it out. And then I'm pretty sure, and then like I didn't use it. And then I started using it as a weird combo planner of like kind of daily, kind of not. And then I started to really get my groove with it, I think January, February, March kind of thing, where I started to just use it as my cross stitch planner. And started using it, you know, just like I said, just for cross stitch. Where I was keeping track of prompts and stitch counts and things like that. And this has worked really well for that. I decided to migrate and separate cross stitch from my personal. So I have a daily planner that I use. I don't think I brought it in here, but I actually have a daily planner that I use. I have like a weekly, I have a happy planner that I use for all of my personal life. And so then I started using this for my cross stitch planner. And that's been great. This is huge. I do not need an 8x11 planner for cross stitch. I have so much space in it that I feel like it's not being used, that felt kind of like a waste, but I liked certain aspects of it. So I've been hunting around. I've been looking and looking and looking for my next planner, right? My next cross stitch planner. And I decided to go with a Plum paper planner, which is this. And I've customized it. So this has my initials, it's got the year, it says cross stitch planner on here. I chose all of that. So I decided to keep with the 12 months of like August through July. This is a new layout from Plum paper planner that I have decided to go with, and it is a grid layout. This is a really light color, so I feel like it's washing out. Let me see if I can pull like a darker color that maybe it'll show better. Not really. Well, like I said, I'm gonna do like a planner video, like when I officially move out of this one into this one, and I'll show you more details then. But essentially, this is a grid planner. It's not catching this at all. But instead of, so it's a lot smaller. It is a lot smaller. This is a 7x9. It's essentially blocks for me to fill in and write in, and I like that a lot. That will come soon. I will do like a migrating kind of thing and go into more detail of like why I chose this planner for cross stitch. So yeah, that's kind of been where my head has been. I lost my stitchy bug because I was doing too much, and now it's come back, and I have just slowly been using it. you know, like if a prompt pops up and I like it and it happens to fit with what I'm working on, then I do it. And if not, then I don't. So yeah. A lot has happened. A lot is going on. But I'm back. I'm back, baby. Baby, I'm back. I'm on a roll. There'll be more for me. There'll be some other videos. Playing catch up, playing makeup, whatever. So I'm here. I'm hoping to get back into the swing of filming more regularly, so hopefully I don't have super long videos like this. But I'm here. And it feels good. So I have missed you all so much. I can't wait to get back and see you all again and catch up on my Flosstube and people that I have even neglected watching Flosstube for. Sarah, Sammy, I'm sorry, Vicky. So yeah, Tess, I miss you all. Hopefully you'll start seeing me again a lot more frequently. But in the meantime, happy stitching, happy reading, happy listening, happy watching, happy doing whatever it is that makes you happy doing. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Be easy with your heart.